Okay, here we are continuing with our grade calculator lesson. This is activity 10. So far, we've kind of set up this helper function to print the grades out. We've also added a command to sort the grades in the list that we've created, and then print out the grades once again. So now what we're going to do is average them all together. So your final grade will be determined by your test average. So let's make a function to calculate it. So we're going to go to functions here under logic. And we're going to define a function with a parameter. So we have a new function that we're going to be putting in. This is going to be below and outside of print grades. So we're going to put that right in here. Below the print grades. We're going to change the name of this function. Instead of my function, it's going to be print average. So we just type that in, print average. And we're going to change, instead of the my var for our parameter, we're instead going to have list of grades. We also need to put in a doc string, as we did with the last function. So we go here to doc string, and then instead of saying this is a description of what the function does, we're going to change that to say calculates and prints average grade to console. And then, of course, in order for this to actually do anything, we need to call the function. So we're going to do function call with parameter here in our main function at the end. We got to scroll down just a little bit before we do that. Here, function call with parameter. I'm putting the space in between our last commands just so we can keep track of what we're doing for each of the activities. We need to change this. Instead of my function, we need to call it print average, and we are sending it the parameter grades. Okay, and obviously this is not going to change our output at all because we haven't actually printed anything. In fact, this function right now does nothing because it just has that pass in there. But we did get a good job, completed the task for this activity in setting up the function. Now we're going to go on to the next activity and actually start putting some of the code into that function. So you go ahead and hit submit work, and we're going to move on to the next activity, activity 11. So we need to total all of the grades divided by the number of grades and then calculate the average. So to do this, we're going to get this list sum inside of here. So instead of having to go through and pull out every single value and add it together, we're just going to sum them all up, which is a really cool function. So hit list here, and we go down to our list operations. Actually, I think it's in statistics. Sorry, I was in the wrong place. So we're going to go to subject and then statistics. And then we go down to where it says list sum. So should be down here under stats functions. So there we go, list sum. And we put it in print average. When it says in the average, make sure as well that you are pushing tab, so it's considered inside of that function. We're going to rename the sum to be total, and then we want to change my list here to be list of grades. List of grades. Once again, this is going to look the same exact as it did last time because we haven't actually printed anything. We just added some commands into our function, but we did accomplish what was supposed to be done. We got a good job. We hit submit, and then we go on to the next activity. So we have the sum. Now let's get the number of grades. We need to get the length of the list to find that. So using len returns the length of list. This tells us how many items are in the list. So in our logic, we're going to go to list, and then we're going to get length of list. So that's down in the list getters, get length of list. Make sure we put it in the print average function. Remember as well, we have to tab to get it inside of that function. And we're going to change my var to num grades. And instead of my list here, we're going to have list of grades. Oh, sorry, I thought I clicked. There we go. So we're going to change this to list of grades. And then, finally, we're going to do a math with division. And we're going to change the equation to look like this. So take the math here and put it inside the function. And we're going to say the average is equal to our total divided by num grades. And then we run this. It once again looks exactly the same as it did before because we haven't actually printed out anything to the console yet. But we did get a good job because we added those commands and they are correct. And now we hit submit. And we move on to the next activity. So we calculated the average, so let's print it to the console to see it with all the other information. So we're going to use a new line character, creates a blank line after printing, include the /n in a string to do this. So before we just printed the blank line in print grades, but now we're going to use this new line character thing. So we're going to go to data and we're going to insert a single value into the bottom of print average. So under here, we go to data, and we're going to insert single under string operators, string formatting, here it is, insert single value, there, okay, and then we're going to change the string to say average, so here instead of saying my variable is blah, 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 we're going to say average, colon, and then we're going to just keep the curly braces that it has here. And we're going to do a new line. So this backslash is actually like right below the backspace on the keyboard. It's not the one on the same key as the question mark. So make sure you type in the right thing. And then you're going to replace the myvar with the my string. Oh, wait, sorry. With average. There we go. And then we're going to go from the console. We want to print out the variable. And instead of printing my var, we're going to print my string. That's where the string is going to go. Okay, so then when we hit run, we're going to see all of the grades listed again. And now we have our actual average that prints out. You can see there's a bunch of decimal places because we didn't format it to be only 2 or only 1. It just comes out the way that everything ended up. So we go ahead and hit submit and go to the next activity. So it's your lucky day. Your teacher will drop your 2 lowest grades. Let's write a function to do exactly that. So we're going to go to functions, and once again we're going to define a function with parameter, and this is going to go after our print average function. Instead of my function, however, we're going to call it remove 2 lowest grades. Oh, remove lowest 2. Sorry, lowest 2. And then we're going to change the parameter to list of grades again. And just like we did with the other 2 functions that we've created already, we're going to put in a doc string, and we're going to describe it as edit it so it will remove the lowest 2 grades. And then we have to call this function in order for it to do anything. So after our print average, we're going to call the function with parameter. And instead of my function, we're going to put remove lowest 2. And we are going to send it the my grades function. Or the grades list. And then we hit run, and the printout is the same because this function doesn't do anything yet. But we've added those commands. We hit submit. Go on to the next activity. We've now got to 10 minutes on this video. To continue going through these activities, you'll have to look at the next video that comes out, part 4.